So in this video, I'm going to quickly go over the quiz 1 solution, kind of what I was expecting. So you can go ahead and follow along if you want. But basically there were two questions. So the first question, which I've repeated here in the comments, is we're going to create a simple animal class with all these specifications. Okay, so let me just go through each one. All right, so the first thing that you should have is you should have class animal. You could put in empty parentheses or you could put in object here if you wanted to, but this was all that was required. Now, the next thing that a lot of people got wrong is the count, because it's a class variable, all right, and not an instance variable. This goes immediately after the class definition here, okay? So it shouldn't be inside of anything like this. So, and you need to initialize it to 0. All right. So then we have our constructor, which is this init method right here. Okay. You'll notice it should be underscore underscore init. It should accept self as the first parameter. And then these other parameters, you'll notice that I have name equals generic beast and weight equals 0.0. So it's specified that these are the default arguments. Okay. And so this is how you do default values for arguments in Python. Okay, is you would put it right up here in the method header. Okay, and then you're going to, of course, take self.name and self.weight and set it to the passed in values. So you should have something like this. And then the next thing, which almost everybody got incorrect, is you need to increment the count. All right, the correct way to do that is you have to say the class name, so animal.count, and then the plus equals 1. All right, you can't just do count plus equals 1. Okay, that's not the class variable if you do that. So you have to do animal.count plus equals 1 is the correct way. All right, and then the string method, okay, it's underscore underscore str. It's not toString or print or anything like that. It's underscore underscore str, and then it should accept self. And this should just return a string, okay? There should be no print statements in here or anything like that. It shouldn't return true, all right? This should just return a string. And how you construct the string is up to you. If you wanted to use .format, that was fine, okay? But it should return a string and only a string. It shouldn't return a tuple. It shouldn't return multiple values. It should just return a string, okay? So this is how I got it set up to do that. All right, the next thing is the equals method, okay? There were a number of people who for some reason used is equal or equals. That's not correct. It's underscore underscore EQ underscore underscore. The first argument is self, okay? And then it needs to accept one other parameter. That other parameter, in this case I've named it other, is what you are comparing to self, okay? Now, I don't think I took off points if you didn't do this instance of check, but you really should, okay? Is you should check to make sure that the other that's coming in is an animal in order to do the comparison. But then the comparison that you want to check is you want to do self.name is equal to other.name, okay? There were some people who forgot to put the other.name in there. All right, you have to have your checking names because that was how we defined animals being equal, is that they had the same name, but we didn't care about the weight. All right. Again, equal should return a true or false. So self.name equals other.name is going to be true if they're the same, and it's going to be false if they're not the same. So this is going to return true or false. Okay. There should be no printing or anything like that. It shouldn't be returning all kinds of messages. It should just be returning true or false. Okay. And then the heavier method is very similar to EQ, okay? It needs to accept self as the first parameter and then another parameter, which is what you'll compare. Again, I did not take off points if you didn't check for the is instance, although you should, okay? And again, what this is checking is if self.weight is greater than other.weight, then it's true, otherwise it's false, okay? So that is all that was required for the first question. All right, now the next question, I was actually kind of surprised. All we basically are doing here is we're sort of exercising the animal class that we just wrote, okay? So here were the instructions, all right, and let's just look. All right, so to create 3 instances of animal class, all right, this is how you do it. Now, I said in here, one of the animal objects should be instantiated with default values, i.e. no arguments passed to the constructor, okay? So that's what A3 is down here. You should have had something like this, A3 equals animal, with just empty parentheses and nothing else. You would not pass in generic beast or 0.0 because that's already set up here in right here. Okay, this is what it'll get assigned to if you don't pass in a name or a weight. Okay, so this is the correct way to do it. And then I asked for two of them to be the same, so of course you should have two being the same but with different weights. So that's why I have these two different lions here. Okay. Then I say print out the animal object in the correct way, implicitly calling the animal built-in string method. Okay. Implicit means that you don't specifically say, I want to call A3.__str, okay? And so this is the way you do it. You just do print A1, print A2, print A3. That's it, okay? Anything more than that is not what I was asking, okay? Printing out the value of the count class variable, again, you have to print out animal with the capital A because that's the class name .count. You wouldn't do A1.count or A2.count. It's animal capital A .count is the correct way to do it. Okay? And then for the next one, testing of the various animals that are equal, okay? This is the way, the whole reason we write the __EQ method is so that we can do comparisons like this. If A1 equals A3, okay? There's no reason to do A1 dot __EQ __ parentheses A3. There's no reason in having an EQ method if that's the way you're going to do it. The EQ method allows this equal comparison to work, okay? So this is the way that I expected you to do it. And it also said that you were supposed to print out a descriptive message, okay? So you needed to print out a descriptive message stating whether they are equal or not, all right? So this is the descriptive message right here. If they're equal, let me say they're equal, otherwise they're not, okay? Same thing for A1 and A2, okay? And it's the same thing for heavier, all right? So if you didn't do something very, very close or very, very similar to this, chances are you lost points, all right? I didn't think that this quiz was very hard, so I was a little bit surprised that a lot of people seem to have a lot of trouble on this. Now, what I would tell you is if you don't understand this, okay, this is the very, very basic object-oriented portions of Python. If you don't understand this, then you either need to get with the TA, or you need to get with me, or you need to do some additional work because the class is only going to get harder from here on out, all right? And it's critically important that you understand this. This kind of a scenario that I gave you should be very, very easy. It should be no problem whatsoever. And other than typos, you know, or just like small mistakes here and there, this should be something that you should be able to easily crank out without even really thinking about it. Okay? All right, so that's the quiz. Let me know if you have any questions.